just general admission is about for a tier 3. It's like 430, 440. It just you know what? It just shows you that metal rock is not dead. There's still the loyal fans that move this music. We may not be in the top 40 anymore, but you know what? We are still alive. We're still kicking. This music is never gonna die.
You're on live now.
We are on live.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So here we are. Second Facebook live stream. Been kind of a while, I think, since the last one. I think the last one was like sometime in August 20th or something like that.
Yep.
Now we're coming up on 3 months.
Well, that was the live. We're back here. This is our second live here, back on Facebook. This is Speak of the Mad podcast. I'm Joshua. He is Joey, and we are collectively Speak of the Madmen, two music enthusiasts of different decades, and here we are. Joey, as you said, it's been a little bit. How have you been, and what have you been listening to?
Yeah, so I've been really good. Been going to work, been pumping up the music, and we were talking about the other the last podcast. We were talking about we were going through the list, and we were talking about the Fleetwood Mac. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Rumours?
And this is on this video is on YouTube currently.
Yeah. And we were talking about Rumours, and I was like, I'm gonna go take a gander at that album. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of songs on here that I'm very familiar with, but I didn't know that was the album. That was the name of the album. So there's a lot of what's that?
Oh, no, it's not a mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of popular songs on the Chain is on there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of songs are familiar, so I was like kind of bummed out that I didn't know about that. I didn't know the name of that album. I never did. There's probably a lot of music like that though, right? You don't know, the music, but you don't know the name of the album, right? So,
but I think timeless music like that is there indefinitely until the world ends, because it's just a great album. It's great music. It's a great time, and I think it's going to live on as long as people continue to share it.
Yeah, see, it's one of those albums that stands the test of time, because it doesn't matter. I can always pull it out, and it always sounds good, and I always like the music, and it doesn't lose its popularity. It doesn't get old, or it stays relevant, and it's not pigeonholed.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds good no matter what decade you're in, and I really like music like that. And that's the disadvantage with like music like nu metal, for instance, because that stuff is kind of pigeonholed into the 90s, and hell, I would even say some bands are like the laughing stock now,
Mm-hmm.
So it's really nice to have music that stands the test of time. And I would definitely say that album is one of them.
Totally. For me, I happen to just be scrolling on all these, Instagram, YouTube, shorts, reels, what have you, and I came across this video, and the video wasn't really the main part of it that I found enjoyable. It was actually the song that they linked to it. This song has like a very maybe a Depeche Mode or Smiths, very early 80s type of sound, but they're actually a band from like this time. It's a Russian band, I don't know how to say their lyrics, but I have their pulled up, and hopefully I can get it to. It's this band. I've been listening to this band.
Molchat Doma.
Yeah, I didn't want to butcher their name, but all their songs are in straight up Russian.
So I don't know if I got that correctly, the pronunciation, but I went ahead and took a shot.
Yeah. So they have such a very like. It sounds like 80s Smiths, like maybe like I said, Depeche Mode or Cure. It was like very, very unique sound. I really enjoyed it. Like I don't know what they're saying, but it's very cool, and that's what I've been listening to.
So is that what you're pumping iron to?
Quite, yeah. There actually I was.
Yeah, I was putting in some reps, dude. Listening to that music. That's cool. Definitely.
Yeah. So that one's very, very cool. That I'm like, it was just a random video. I'm like, I don't remember the video it was linked to, but I'm like, this song is very cool. And I'm like, I never heard of this. So I read in the comments, and just like anyone who watches videos, like they go straight to the comments. People are asking, "What's this band? What's this band?" And luckily, people knew who it was, and they linked it. And I'm like, I found it, and I just kept going down their song list. Like I said, I don't know what they're saying. I enjoy it though.
I never heard of them in my whole entire life. I have no idea. That's the first time. So what type of genre are we talking about here? We're talking about new wave. Is that what type of is that what we're dealing with here? New wave. Let me see. Dance rock. Because I'm looking at Depeche Mode. I'm looking at they got them down as synth pop, new wave. I guess that means synthesizer pop, right? They're using the synthesizer a lot back in the 80s. So, and then you got new wave, then you got dance rock, electronic rock.
Yeah, through the greatest source for any scholar, Wikipedia. It says post-punk, dark wave, new wave, synth pop, cold wave. Yeah.
Wait, I've never heard of cold wave in my entire life. Cold wave? What is cold wave?
Apparently this music, Molchat Doma. Apparently it means houses of silent, or houses are silent.
I have never even heard of Kraftwerk. Oh, Kraftwerk is part of the okay, which I have heard of them. But it's definitely a way different part of the tree on the branch on the tree from heavy metal music. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy some of that stuff. Definitely.
That was the band I was thinking of too. It was Joy Division.
Yeah,
it sounds like Joy Division. They only have like that one album.
Yeah, I that's pretty much like the Jods for Interpol. They think they're Joy Division, right? Which I mean, I think they're good in their own right, but
unknown pleasures. Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, and I knew one of them, and that just think that Interpol is a fraud. Interpol needs to go find their own style because they model themselves way too much out for Joy Division.
And sure. we talked about Interpol a few episodes ago. Go ahead and check that out at our YouTube channel at Speak of the Madmen, right over there.
I love Interpol. I mean, I took time to talk about them in our podcast, but there is that argument. There is some people out there that don't respect them. And you guys have a right to your own opinion. So leave a comment or if you want to talk about that or about Josh's new band that he's discovered. Let's hear about that because I've never heard of them. But there's so many bands. Of course, it's hard to hear about every single thing that's out there. And they're a Russian band.
Yes, I thought that was very cool, very unique. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what they're saying, but hopefully it's nothing too weird.
Yeah, and, that reminds me because I was listening to some of the bands I used to listen to, and I stopped listening for a while. Like one in particular, I always used to listen a lot of Fat music from Fat Records, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to be listening to a lot of Good Riddance a lot. And obviously, they're very political in their lyrics. Uh, so it's like one of those type of things. You know, punk is very political, obviously, right? That's like the main thing. They're always, there's activism and stuff like that. But what happens when you're listening to a song or music and you don't agree with the lyrics? I mean, what do you do with that? You love the music, right? Love,
Mm-hmm.
but what happens if you don't agree with necessarily what they're saying? What they're advocating, or what how do you people out there deal with that, or do you even care? Does it
Mm-hmm.
even matter? Maybe sometimes you can't even hear the vocals. I mean, a lot of times you listen to music, you don't even know what the hell they're saying, right? So it doesn't really matter. But how do you? I wonder how does everybody feel about that? Can you listen to something that you completely disagree with the lyrics wise because you love the music? Or do you stop listening to it once you find out it's something that you're not interested in, right? The
I
lyrics.
think it is. I think it is a very like you're riding on the razor's edge because sometimes it's like music you might have grown up with, maybe just for various reasons. Like this is the coolest music, and then you grow up, and then you start to have different views on life, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's like you
this.
start having you're like, well, I can't believe I listened to. Yeah, I don't agree with this anymore. And so because there's a
Actually,
lot of music. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, a perfect example is for me is for some reason I was very well. I guess I still am. I enjoyed the Motor City Madman, Ted Nugent, but his early stuff. Obviously, "Stranglehold" is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. Cat Scratching Fever" is another one that I remember listening to, and he just kind of got a little too gnarly. But you know what? I'm able to partition
So can
my
you?
my
So you
viewpoints.
you can separate it. You can go, okay, I like the music. I'm not even gonna deal. I'm not even gonna pay attention to like the lyrics or what's being said or what's being advocated. And you can do that.
Well, because I guess maybe back then he wasn't saying too much stuff, but like the present Ted Nugent is a little bit too wild for me. But yeah, the madman in those records is the madman I choose to listen to and not really go by of him today. But I'm able to partition, and there's many people like that.
Okay. All right. So you're able to do that. Same with me too. I can listen to some like I can listen to Good Riddance and stuff like that. Even though I know that singer is really strong on his views. Um, I think he's a vegan too. So a lot of the lyrics talk about that type of stuff. But so I just thought not to even get into that and stuff inside it, but like the content, but just to talk about that idea about that. You know what I mean? Like, can you listen to music that's not what you agree with? You know what I mean? How important are the lyrics are to you? How important is the actual content of the lyrics important? Or do you just care that it just that it like the melody just sounds good,
Mm-hmm.
to the vocals? So I just thought it kind of an interesting thing because there's a lot of bands, there's a lot of punk bands out there, and they're really crazy. In my opinion, they're like a little bit out there, and you know, I could still listen to Black Flag.
Yeah,
It's great. It's a great band, but yeah, this is a lot.
yeah. Same thing with Minor Threat.
Yeah,
Another.
minor. Yeah, straight edge. I mean,
Yeah.
so the whole straight edge thing. It's like it's a whole culture. It's a huge giant thing, and I'm not a part of any of that. I don't agree with any of that, but I listen to Minor Threat. I like their music. I think their music itself, the guitar, the drums, the bass, I like what's going on there. But
Mm-hmm.
I've never been straight edge. I like to have my
Actually,
occasional beer.
I mean, that's a great kind of crossover. What we were just talking about. It's like, you know, straight edge, and it's like a lot of great punk bands, especially those early '80s days, were straight edge, and it's like a lot of you can agree that a lot of the listeners weren't probably straight edge, but they're like,
Yeah.
this music's really rad.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not just the music; it's the way of living. It's that whole way of living thing that goes along with it. And I don't, metal's not really. Metal's a little different because punk rockers. I mean, they're a lot of them are activists. They're advocates. They're ready to take charge. You know what I mean, against the man and this and that. And heavy metal's never been. Heavy metal's not really like that. They're not advocating as much. They're just banging the head and just trying to get a good rhythm going and that stuff. Like, so it's very, punk rock is more of a, I mean, heavy metal too is sort of, it's not, I guess punk rock is more of a lifestyle. It's more of a culture or something like that. Maybe heavy metal is not as much strong when it comes to advocacy and stuff like that,
Very, very different fan bases, very different cultures, but both music that we both agree that are, we both love those type of music.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, there's a lot of fat record bands that I enjoy. I love Lagwagon a lot. I don't think we've ever talked about them on here. I don't remember, but I mean, I've probably been to probably at least 10 Lagwagon shows in my lifetime. We like the band a lot. It was sad to see when the bass player left the band. But I mean, I don't know how many albums they got, over 10 albums. No, probably I don't even know how many albums they got, 12 albums, maybe more than that. So that's a really good Fat Records band that I always like, and Riddance always has really great songs. And I think I was listening to Symptoms of a Leveling Spirit, and then Bound Down by Ties of Blood and Affection, I think the album's called. Yeah, I really like those two albums. I listened to in particular, and then you listen to music and you're like, oh, I remember the time and place when this was being played. I remember what I was doing when I was listening to these songs and stuff like that. And it was a good time. You know how music does that. You put in a really good memory in your brain about that particular time when you're listening to a certain album or certain song.
Absolutely.
So when you grab it out again, 10 years later, you're like, oh, I remember that time. It's a good time.
Absolutely. I was just talking about this with one of my friends. It's a band. Actually, it was a certain song from Hawthorne Heights. I know it's a band. I know you're not familiar with it. It's not in your.
Oh, I know Hawthorne Heights. They're a Victory record band. Emo.
Okay. Yes,
they're
sir.
Getting the emo space.
That is my middle school days. And
so you were a fan of them, Hawthorne Heights?
At first I wasn't, but then it was just radio play over and over again, Ohio for Lovers, and I'm like, you know what? I officially like this song.
Hold on, Josh. So you didn't listen to Taking Back Sunday. You weren't really. It wasn't
not
really
right.
Hitting
Not.
But
no,
Hawthorne
not right
Heights,
away.
though.
Yeah.
But Hawthorne Heights. You listen to Hawthorne Heights, dude, but you won't listen to Taking Back Sunday.
No, I listened to Taking Back Sunday, but it wasn't as quickly, But yeah, so the good old middle school emo days.
So was there a time where you were in emo?
Just that, that band, The Used, as I said before. I guess it's not really emo band, but a lot of that pop punk style. I was listening to what is it, Yellowcard and Ocean Avenue. That's a good song. It's bringing back some memories.
Yeah, I mean, Yellowcard actually recorded. I don't know if it was that record or something, but and that's Stall Number 2 I was talking about a couple podcasts ago, that Fletcher Dragons from Fennyways, and I think they recorded that album in that studio too as well at that time. So I remember they were around, but they kind of fell off. They kind of dropped off the map a little bit, right? Because I haven't heard anything about them.
Yeah, but yep.
Yeah.
Good old Hawthorne Heights.
Yeah, Hawthorne. So did you ever mess with your hair or anything like that?
Oh no, I was.
Did you ever mess with the eyeliner?
I would, as much as I like the scene girls and the emo girls. No, I just wear my black hoodie and I wear headphones.
Okay. Well, you know
Um,
what? It's fine because I like Taking Back Sunday.
there you go.
I think that's a good. But you know, and I even like Saves the Day. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but
I have.
yeah,
I don't remember. I don't remember much of that, but yeah.
yeah, Saves the Day. Let me see let me look at the album that I really like a lot. I wonder if you guys have heard them out there. Stay What You Are. That's the album. Sound the Alarm is a good album too, through being cool. You know what? I stopped listening to the rest of the stuff, but I think Stay What You Are. It's one of the ones that left the mark to me. I think that was what's really cool is there was a YouTube thing that they were playing on a tour, and I don't know what happened with there was like some type of technical difficulties, and the whole band wasn't able to play. So the singer, I think they were like in some college town or something like that, and the singer just borrowed a guitar from somebody, acoustic guitar, and started playing the whole set on acoustic, and then people just surrounded and playing. I thought that was the coolest, most organic thing to do. The hell, that was even better than the actual show. You know what I mean? They turned that around and did something that was so intimate like that. That's like, you know, it's like playing in a coffee house, but better because everybody was there. You know, it's like that's. I remember watching that on YouTube, and I really thought that was one of the coolest things I've seen.
All right. So I just first like to say, got a couple of viewers. Got Jacqueline, hello. Tammy, hello. Jody, if y'all still here, thank you for watching. I'm Joshua. This is Joey, and we're Speak of the Madman. This is our second live here on Facebook, but we are on YouTube at Speak of the Madman. So let's continue. Joey, you brought up a festival that is coming. That is going to come here Saturday, May 13th in Las Vegas, one of my favorite cities in the world. So tell me about it. What have you? What piqued your interest about this band?
Well, first of all, let's pull up the list. All right, let's look at this billing because there is a lot. This thing is loaded with bands that are definitely part of the new metal era. Maybe these bands are making a comeback, which I think is really cool. Actually, I mean, that they're playing and they're still relevant.
So I pulled it up here.
So let's see this thing. So let's start from the top.
We'll start from the top. Well, that's easy. System of a Down.
So System of a Down, I guess. Okay, so I'm surprised the System of a Down is higher than Korn, but I guess.
Well, it can be considered their comeback tour because they haven't been very active recently, from what I remember. I mean, they do a lot of tours, but not really albums.
Wait, so have they been a hiatus, an album hiatus? Have they?
Yeah. I mean, they released during there was some kind of I don't want to mess up here with there was some type of war happening over there in their native land of Armenia, and they did a song.
2005 was the last time they put out an album. Whoa.
Yeah,
wow.
But a few years ago they did a couple of two songs, very, very cool songs.
Wow. I didn't realize that they haven't put out an album in 17 years. Whoa.
Yeah, very, very, right now. Very big fan base. People love System. I'm a fan of System of a Down.
They were around the circuit when I started playing with my trench band, and we played a show with them, and they were around. So that's kind of nice to see them being successful because it just feels part of that whole scene. It's good that they made it. These I remember when they weren't very popular, and they were not because I remember when they were first coming out. Obviously they were going to be popular. So, and I remember when they first started, and they really made a name for themselves. That was a good time when they were coming out too. Okay, so we got them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think their best album is probably Toxicity. Is it? I think that's their best album.
Yeah, Hypnotize and Memorize. Another, I think the Grammy Award winning album right there too.
Yeah,
All right.
but then I also like the first one, Sugar. Sugar's a
Mhm.
great song too. Yeah.
No,
But
yeah,
the singer.
Yeah, Serge Tankian. He has a great voice. He's very smart guy.
Well,
You can,
he came up with his own style of singing, and it kind of had that he calls his own, and
mm-hmm.
it works. It worked for him, and he was able to do that. So my hats off to him for creating a certain singing sound that he developed on his own. But I think that definitely that album Toxicity is their best work. And then obviously we have Korn, that we've talked about several times on this podcast.
Yep.
I mean, we all know. I mean, they're definitely huge. Deftones.
Yeah, obviously one of your favorite bands.
Well, I seen the Deftones back in like '95 or was it '96 at the Palladium. Okay, how do you like that? I mean, let's bring that up because when I saw them in '96, they only had Adrenaline. That's it. They didn't have the album after that. They had Adrenaline, and that was it. And so, how cool is that to listen to Deftones with that one album? Back in that time, it was. And then Palladium too. It's like I really like watching bands there. The way it's set up, it's all flooring and it's all general mission. And then you got the top balconies. Have you been there?
No.
Never been to Palladium? Yeah, it's just a big floor with two balconies, I think it is. And yeah, when you're in a band and you're playing the Palladium, you've gone somewhere with your band. You definitely have a following. You've definitely done something. What are you laughing at?
No, just seeing some of these bands, and it's like some of your.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so Incubus, my girlfriend's favorite.
Okay.
That's another band that we played with over in Huntington Beach. What the heck was that place called? It's like an area. It's right off the freeway at 405, and it's they have like weddings there. It's like a German community. Okay. I forgot what the name of the place was, but they had bands playing there, and they played there. And I remember those guys were just hanging around. This is before they got all popular. So I remember them being around. Oh, I think it was called Old World. That's what that place was called. Old World in Huntington Beach. Played with them. So that was a great memory. I remember that. Then we have
Evanescence.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen a couple of I remember Spotify has thrown out some songs from them and they sounded okay, but I really haven't had a chance to venture into them. Do you have any opinion about them?
Just that one very popular song that Wake Me Up Inside. I mean,
is that the woman vocalist?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Okay.
I remember that was no offense to any Evanescence fans out there, but I remember that was one that was very popular amongst the scene in my high school, and I was like, okay, I'll stay away from them. All right, moving forward.
I feel the same way with a lot of bands like that. So.
Let's see. It's going.
Turnstile. I've never heard of Turnstile. Or what is it? Turnstile? I've never heard of them. Never heard of it. And then, of course, Chevelle. That's like the best band that I've been with.
This is Joey's car drive to UCLA road list.
Yeah, I went insane with those albums, going through each and one of them. Well, the funny thing is, though, I was only listening to one album for like 3 months, and then I ventured off to the other albums, and then I realized that there's other albums that were even better.
So,
crazy.
If anyone continuing watching this, quick story: when Joey and I were both at UCLA, and we, had time just to chill at the cafeteria, Northern Lights. you're like, dude, you should listen to this band. Listen to this band, and he was obsessed with this band or obsessed with the record. And was it Red that you told me to listen to? Red?
Well, Red was a song that I always knew in the back of my mind, but I never knew who played it.
Okay.
So I always liked it, and then when I finally heard who played it, then I ventured into their albums, and then there you go. And that's when I saw you. I'm like trying to tell you about it, and you know,
there you go.
Did you listen to it?
I did. I listened to it. I did.
Oh, okay. Anyways, you know, every you know, it caught me. I really dug the alternative metal that they were doing, and discovering all their albums that came out many years ago. And just, I always think that that's really fascinating when you're listening to the albums that came out a long time ago and you have no idea about them, and you're listening to them for the first time, and they've been out forever, which is kind of crazy, you know. But it happens like that sometimes.
All right, so let's continue with Sister of Mercy. They sound cool, but
they've been around since, like, I think the 80s, haven't they? I mean, I think they've been around forever. Yeah, I think. I think goth. I think they're gothic, aren't they? Are they goth? Yeah, they are gothic.
Sisters of Mercy. Yeah. I was thinking of Merciful Faith. I'm like, that would be rad. Bringing back
Sisters of Mercy.
King Diamond.
No, they're a different band, but yeah, hailing from England. They're an English band, formed in 1980. Wow. Yeah, they've been around, but I never really got it. They're gothic, and gothic is just not something that really moved me much, you know. Okay,
so let's go with next.
And then see Papa Roach. Look at Papa Roach. Papa Roach. I remember my buddy Justin, who worked at Golden Voice, but I think Golden Voice was bought out by, I can't remember the other company. It's like AEG or something like that. And when he was working at Golden Voice, they had a house over in Hollywood that they worked at. It was like this old house that's like right on freaking Hollywood Boulevard, or was it Sunset? I think it's Sunset. And I remember being there, and they were opening up their promo packet. They had like this packet they would send, you know, the promo and their pictures and who they are, because it's Golden Voice, right? So they promoted it. And I remember they had like these cockroaches, like these fake cockroaches in the promo packet, you know, you just throw it out everywhere. And I thought that was a cool marketing scheme.
And obviously their biggest hit was I don't even know the name of it. I just know it's Cut My Life into Pieces. I didn't even know. Last Resort. That's Last Resort. That's what it was. Last Resort. Wow.
Yeah, that song was really a big hit for them.
Yeah. Jacoby and many of his other names. There was a great video on YouTube on like kind of behind the story of that hit, and it was kind of depressing. You know, if anyone wants to watch it, it's on YouTube. It just goes deep on the whole background of that song, and one of my favorite songs. It is definitely on my gym playlist, as it should be yours.
Yeah, I mean, what's that album called?
I think it's called Last Resort as well.
Is it called Last Resort? Papa Roach? They kind of they kind of fell through the wayside with the new metal, right? Because I mean, I haven't heard much really about them. Is it called Infest? It's called Infest.
Okay, Infest.
Yeah, it's called Infest. Yeah.
Last Resort is a song.
Look at all the albums they got. They got like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 albums. Jesus. Yeah. Okay.
Well, moving on.
Yeah.
Have you? I've never even heard of this band.
Death Grips?
Nope.
Never heard of them?
I just know that a death grip is when you work out and you're using a very weird hand grip.
Flyleaf? Nope.
Okay, see, Flyleaf for me is another band like late middle school, early high school. It had like either I'm not sure. I didn't really follow it, but it was like either two women vocalists. I'm not sure if the original one and then the one that replaced her is the one that got famous. But that really cool. They have a one or two under one of their main albums. that I still listen to it to this day. It's a really good album. I like it. So it's a good band.
I have no idea about them, but maybe I have heard of their songs. I don't know.
All right, Mr. Was it
Mr. Bungle? Is that Mr. Mike Patton's band from Faith No More?
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think it's a side project. Let me see. I never really got into Mr. I never really listen to Mr. Bungle, but I think it's Mike Patton. Is it Mike Patton? Yeah, it is his band. It's Faith No More's side project. Yeah, I just they've been around forever. I mean, since the '90s. I remember in high school.
Next one is
that's your band.
Well, yeah, it is technically Villavallo from him, my favorite band. His solo work, just VV or Villavallo. I am very interested. He did come out with a couple of songs. I think. Actually, he came out with an album not that long ago. I will have to give it to more of a listen, but it's hard as a hardcore him fan not to wish it's still him. So it's kind of heartbreaking as a very dedicated him fan. But I will always support Villavallo, so I'm very excited. If I do go, I will be watching this.
Wait, do you have a heartogram tattoo?
Mm-hmm.
There it is. All right. Well, yeah, that's it's good to see him doing that. Okay, Placebo. Okay. I told you about Placebo, the other podcast.
Yes, sir.
There's one of those type of bands that I never heard anybody talk about. But they have a good sound to them, and they're very catchy. And
someone said that they were like college rock for this new generation. Like only a bunch of college kids listen to them. I'm not sure if this is true.
I don't know, man. I mean, those guys have to be like the singer has to be like in his 50 now, probably. So I don't know. I don't know if they're like seen as like kind of like a hip new thing. They've been around for a while.
Okay,
I really like them. I mean, I like Meds and then Battle.
Huh?
Is it Battle of the Sun or Battle on the Sun?
To be fair, I don't know any of these new ones. I'm not familiar with a lot, but like the skinny puppy that's next to 100 Gex, I don't know what that is.
Wait, what are you looking at?
Cold Chamber? Cold Chamber, anything?
Okay, Cold Chamber, I mean, that one really hits home because they were also around the scene with System of a Down and Static X.
That name sounds familiar. I'm just not familiar. I can't get a jingle in my head of what song they play.
Yeah, they play Local. What's the name of the God, I can't believe because this stuff I used to listen to a long time ago. Was it self-titled? It was a self-titled album. It's got like the ice cream truck thing. And I think their big song was Local.
Oh.
But another band that kind of it just kind of just went off the charts after nu metal, was not popular anymore. So what do you call it? Fell by the hip side, or what's that phrase? Yeah, they
fell by the wayside.
Fell by the wayside. I say by the hip side. Yeah, so they went out with the nu metal, and they really haven't. They're just another product of the nu metal popularity back in the 90s. And
Joey, I'm reading some of these ones that are coming up. I think that there's a possibility I might be going for sure because aside from him, we're going to skip a few. I mean, POD, San Diego natives here, so I am very biased. I love POD, Satellite.
Aren't they a Christian band?
Hard School.
Aren't they a Christian band?
It's like yes and no. It's like I think they did form as a Christian band, but then when they kind of got out of it and they didn't make it as Christian-y, they got popular, but then I think they kind of got reverted back. But I don't really consider them like a Christian band, at least the albums I was listening to. Like you said, Hoobastank. But after that, I see.
Well,
I
hold on a
see.
second. Hold on a second. But before that, you skipped over Seven Dust. Seven Dust, very soulful band, metal band. They're very. I mean, the singer. I really like the singer. He's his voice. That's a great band to see live. So let's
Okay.
not forget about Seven Dust, because that's a really good band.
Soulfly.
Yeah, Soulfly. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Soulfly. You go to see Soulfly, you're probably going to hear Sepultura songs, right? So that's what's cool, is that you'll go to Soulfly, right, and then you'll hear the album Arise, probably off that show, that you're not even going to be thinking about or expecting, and they'll start busting out with Desperate Cries, from Arise. So watch out for that band, because they will. I don't know, but is Max still in that? Is Max still? He's still in the band, right? Yeah, he's still in the band. Thank God, I couldn't imagine him not being in the band. Jeez.
Well, as I was getting excited for, Alien Ant Farm is on here. Is on the lineup. I mean,
is that going to be with Ty Zamora though? I mean, Ty, where are you at? You need to be in that band. Why aren't you playing with your boys in Alien Ant Farm? We need you.
I think this was what, podcast 1 or 2 that we had the discussion of Alien Ant Farm, and this is part of this is it. This might be a key fact of us going, Joey.
Well, we haven't got down to we haven't talked about the price of this thing. We're going to get that towards the end. All right, we're going to build up to this price that it costs.
Oh no!
Yeah, so just keep that in the back of your pocket. Okay, but Alien Ant Farm, that one really Alien Ant Farm always has a place in my heart, because, God, I mean, from '94 I've been listening to that band, '95, and I just really just adore their style. And the way the guitar player decides to play his rhythms and stuff like that. So,
and you've always defended them, saying that they have better songs than the Smooth Criminal song that they. I
always thought it was just a tragedy that they can. Like, obviously, I'm happy that they got popular, but I just kind of thought, because then it's like every time I say, "Oh, Alien Ant Farm," oh, they play that one song, "Smooth Criminal," right? See, I don't want to hear that. Now that they've been pigeonholed to that song, and there's so much of a better band than that. You guys are so much of a better band than that. They didn't even need Michael Jackson to well, I don't know, maybe.
Hey, as a kid, I really liked that. I really liked the music video. I really liked it. But you're right. They got pigeonholed with that one song, "Smooth Criminal." They do have a good Orange County, right? They're from Orange County, or at least from
Riverside. They're from Riverside.
Right. They do got that California vibe that I do enjoy.
Yeah, they whatever. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anybody say anything about that song. I don't like that song. I never really cared about them covering that song.
Hot take.
Yeah, the Michael Jackson song is good, you know what I mean? But I don't really care for their cover of the song, because maybe because they've been playing for so many years. I've heard it like hundreds of times. That's one thing. And then also, it's just, I don't like how that's like the go-through thing. They play that song, like that's the song that everybody was waiting for. I mean, they have so many other good songs. So yeah, I thought that was kind of unfair to them too. But then again, you get it when you can get it. You know what I mean? If you can get popular, then by all means,
And for anyone watching now or in the future, you can look over Joey's shoulder, as he has an Alien Ant Farm poster. He is a true Alien Ant Farm fan.
Yeah, that's true. And I got and then right next to it, Thrice.
There you go.
Yeah. And then right behind here, I don't know if you can see that, the Alkaline Trio 2005 tour. It's a Good Morning tour. Because that band is now back together playing, because Matt Skiba is not in Blink-182 anymore. I think Tom DeLonge is back in the band now. You know,
that is some breaking news that I wanted to bring up not that long ago. But yeah, Blink-182 back, original lineup. Ticket prices are insane for any hardcore Blink fans like me. I'm really scratching out my pocket for coins because I enjoy Blink-182, Tom DeLonge, Mark Harpus, and the Travis.
They're just complete Gen Xers, you know, from American Pie. That whole time, you know, it's just. I'm glad he's back in the band. I really do. He really needs to be in that band because that Blink-182 is really complete with him being in the band. So I'm happy about that. I'm excited about that. Maybe I'll go see them play too. That would be nice. Yep. Okay, so we have Body Count. Body Count. Wow. I mean, that's
a notorious band formed by legendary rapper Ice-T. It's another tragic band because a lot of the original members, passed away through, I guess, violence. But
not all. The drummer died from some type of, I think he got cancer or he had a heart attack or something. So not all of them, but I think that there's only two guys that are the original members, and that's going to be Ernie C. and Ice-T. They're the only two guys, and I hope that Ernie C's still in the band because he wrote a lot of the songs, the music for that band.
I dare not say one of their famous songs' names because I don't want to get in trouble, but it's Cop Something. Check that out.
Yeah, so that's an example of something where, you know, back in the day I didn't really mind it, you know what I mean? But now it's like I don't really like that stuff. I don't really agree with that, you know. But
I totally agree. Like I said, I'm a big fan. I love Ice-T. I think he's an original. He's an OG. He's an original gangster. Original flow, but at the same time, very polarizing character, especially in the Body Count music. A lot of the stuff he talked about was police brutality and violence towards the police.
I don't agree with that at all. But hey, I still like the band a lot.
I agree.
I think the band is a really good band, and I always really respected Ice-T from transferring from rap to heavy metal to make that transition. I thought that was really cool that he was even interested in doing heavy metal, you know.
And that he still does it is very rad. It wasn't just a one-off. It was he's still doing it from like the mid-90s.
And I wonder how much how much he practiced with them, like rehearsing. He probably never even rehearses with them. He probably gets flown in. You know, he probably hasn't seen REC probably like in 10 years, 15 years. And he just comes in and I wonder if he remembers the lyrics to his song. No,
Ice-T is I truly believe he's a professional. He's an OG. He likes to give people what they paid for.
Yeah, he's definitely a legend. That's for sure. So, it's good to see Body Count still around, still doing what they're doing. So, then go ahead and move on.
Moving on. Have you heard any of these next bands? Fever 33, Health. I can't even read that one. What did that even say? Machine Girl? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that logo, but I have to tell you, that's really terrible marketing. I mean, if I can't read it, I have to that's not good. That's not good. I'm talking to you, death metal. I'm talking to you, death metal bands.
All right, let's go. Horror. I think Horror 99 or 99.
I think I've seen them, but I've seen the logo, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with that band, so we haven't. Yeah.
So then this one I am very excited about. Prayers. If it's the Prayers I'm thinking about, which I hope it is. He is another person from San Diego, from my hometown, representing the Cholo Goth movement. He is I presume, a reformed gang member, and now he's into, he grew up goth. As he stated many times in interviews, he was too goth for the gang members and too gang members for the goth.
So he's doing something positive now in playing music and staying out of trouble.
Yeah, he's actually on the older side. I think he's almost maybe mid 40s, early 50. I think like maybe late 40s. Yeah, he's very, very cool sound. I do like him. He's Well, first off, he's actually married to Kat Von D, so I think that's very rad. So representing the Mexican culture,
right.
representing Southern California. So I'm a big fan of Prayers. Check him out if you like the Cholo Goth music, which is kind of old school, like another like old school, like I don't know how to even describe it. It's just its own style, but it's very goth.
Then we got
Rap.
we got Filter.
Mm-hmm.
They're like go ahead.
No, I have never these next two ones I have not heard of any about, but these are yours.
Well, let's see. Filter is they've also been a band that's been around for a while, right? What was the they had one hit song. It was a "Hey guy, man, nice shot," something like that. Nice shot, man.
Hmm.
I think they always played that song like. It was the hell was the song's called? Is it Short Bus? Yeah. Wow, that's the first. That hit song is the very first song off the their debut album. Yeah, I remember that song. They played that. That was a big hit for them. But the funny thing is that I have never heard of any other song from. I'm not even familiar with anything else from them.
Jody?
Any other word from them?
Just reading a quick comment left by Jody saying his wife Coco is annoying. Yeah, I like Coco, but I can see why some people may not like her.
Are you talking about Ice-T?
Yes. just reading a comment someone left.
Did she come out on some reality TV show or something? Probably.
Yeah,
right?
it's just a model, and then she very buxom. Is very buxom. Like let's just say I would rather watch her than any of the Kardashians. Yeah. So, but
yeah.
To each his own. Let's move on. So Melvins, you've brought up that name before.
I mean, are they a punk band? Are they a metal band? I thought they were like kind of a. What is their genre anyway? What is because I've never really been around forever. They're sludge metal.
I don't.
What is sludge metal? I don't even know what sludge metal is.
Very sloppy, I presume.
Doom metal and hardcore punk. Wow. Okay. It doesn't seem like something that would catch my interest, but maybe it has something to do with like venturing from the Black Sabbath and then taking that off into a different direction.
So for any new people joining us, welcome. This is the Speak of the Madman podcast here live on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel of the same name. I'm Joshua, and this is Joey. And right now we're going over the Sick New World tour that's going to be happening in Las Vegas on Saturday, May 13th with a stacked lineup. And we're just currently going through the lineup and basically just talking our butts off, seeing if we know anything, and our general commentary.
This next band, Failure, I've actually heard of them. I remember hearing back in the 90s. I remember a guy that I think we were like, I don't remember what. God, this is like 97. But some guy that was playing when I was playing in my band friends, he was around. I don't know how he was around or why he was around, but he was there and he told me about that band, Failure. He's like, listen to Failure. They're Failure. And then I remember hearing Failure and it was a failure. But I remember this back then, and I can't believe they're still around. So I guess they got the band back. Who knows if they're still? I mean, I can't imagine that they're probably working regular jobs, and they're like, hey, we can get on this bill, and then they get the band back together, probably. But
so
what's the other one? Stabbing Westward.
Nope.
Again, dude, another bad marketing thing, in my opinion. I can barely read it.
And then Cold.
Yeah, Cold.
No, I don't know anything about this Cold band. So, but
And
You have anything to say about Cold?
No. I mean, I think I've heard of
Okay.
them, but no. Let's just move on.
You were gonna say something, Joey?
No, go for it.
You were gonna say one of my
Oh,
favorite bands.
yeah. They played with Danzig. That went to over there in Rancho Cucamonga. Was it? I can't remember what the heck. Was it the I forgot what it's called. Center in Rancho Cucamonga, and they played before They were opening for Danzig, and I didn't see them. Like I got there too late, and then you told me that you really liked them a lot.
Yep, one of my favorite bands, Cradle of Filth. This band is a band I listened through high school. Like I wasn't like it's very heavy, kind of screamo. It was kind of scary. I think that's why I liked it. You know, I was going through my high school phase of just like I want to be everything that's not popular. I want to listen to everything that's the opposite of what's popular. And I found Cradle of Filth. English Fire is a song off their Nymphetamine song. Whether you listen to Nymphetamine Fix or Nymphetamine Overdose, they have Ghost in Her Fog. It's one of my favorite bands. I truly think that they don't get enough credit, and I was very disappointed that they only have like 500K monthly Spotify listeners. I think they should have more. I am a Cradle of Filth fan, and Danny Filth, very rad.
Wait, 500,000? They have 500,000? It's kind of a lot, isn't it?
I mean, for a band that have a discography since the 90s, you would think they would have more followers. So I'm excited to see. Danny Filth is a great merchandiser. Comic books, great shirts, very controversial shirts, especially from the 90s. He knows how to market, and he reinvents himself. So I think it's very cool. He's very, very great frontman, and I love Cradle of Filth.
I'm really happy that you like them. It's good to be passionate about bands. So what's the next one? Moving on. London
After Midnight. Sounds like a cool name. I've never heard this band, so.
London After Midnight. It sounds like some type of like Warrant album or something like that.
And then we got Britney Massacre. Nope. I'm sorry.
You should say Birthday Massacre. You should say Britney Massacre.
Yeah.
Birthday Massacre, never heard of them. I have no idea. The 69 Eyes I've heard of.
Well, I was going to say, I'm excited. This is why I was like, wow, this is like my Spotify playlist. If I go down the list, System of a Down, Korn, Hymn or Veil of Valor songs. I have POD, Alien Ant-Farm, I have Body Count, Prayers, and Cradle Filth, 69 Eyes. That was like, wow. Another band that I came up listening to around the same time I was listening to him. They have one song called Wrap Your Troubles in Dreams that I really love. They have some of the newer stuff. What is it? Dead Girls Don't Lie, something like that. I think it's a very cool band, very goth band. So it's another band I enjoy listening to.
All right.
So
I think I had I thought I had a 7-inch of those guys somewhere laying around the house.
But Wrap Your Troubles in Dreams, I love that song from 69 Eyes.
Has anybody else heard of that song out there?
Please.
Yeah.
Wrap Your Troubles in Dreams, yep. All right, moving forward. Or what does that one next say?
Orgy. Yeah, I've heard of the band, but I think I want to say they have maybe one hit song, and then that's it. That's all I know. But I'm not really familiar with them or their work.
Any fans of the bands that we didn't know? Sorry, we're just we have one boomer and one almost boomer here, and we don't really know a lot of the newest stuff. But we're always willing to give it everything a chance, especially in this type of music, because we enjoy rock, punk, metal, basically anything that can bob your head to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we apologize if we haven't heard. There's so many bands out there. I mean, we just can't know them all, right? There's a couple of the bands we didn't even mention earlier from the top. We didn't talk about She Wants Revenge, Ministry. I just noticed that right now.
Like these next bands, I can't even pretend I know any of these next ones.
So I mean,
I've heard of Fiddlehead, but I don't know anything else about that.
My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, Monster Magnet, Loathe, Pinchico. Again, another thing that I can't even read. Still Queen or something. I can't even. Oh geez. Super Heaven, Narrow Head, and Scowl. I bet you those bands are probably coming on like at what 10 in the morning or something like that.
Hey, start somewhere, right?
Hey, you got on the gig, you got on the festival. That's great. That's good publicity for your band. But how many people are really going to be there when Skull plays? You
know. But yeah, that's the lineup. I'm gonna throw a quick question to you, Joey. If you pick right now 3 bands out of this list, and you could probably even throw in two unknown bands or maybe bands you haven't listened to in a long time. Like for me, 3 bands I would want to listen to right now is I think I've already said it. Anything with him, Sevilla Vallo, Cradle of Filth, 69 Eyes. But I would love to hear live Body Count and Flyleaf would be pretty cool. And obviously System of a Down, Korn.
Hey, but you can only listen. I can only pick 5 bands. You said
out of all this lineup, yeah, you may pick the 5 bands that you are really interested in listening to.
Well, I mean, I guess 5 is not okay. I thought it was going to be like 3, and then okay, 5.
Well, you can pick 3. Pick 3 of the bands you really want to see, and then 2, you're like, you know what, I want to watch them.
Okay, this is a good question because, like, say for instance, I love the Deftones, but I don't know if I would use my pick because I don't really like the direction they went in. I don't like how Chino plays guitar. I don't like how they have a DJ in the band now. But I know that they're still going to sound good live. I know once I'm there, they're going to, so that's a tough one because I would probably prefer to see, I hate to say this, but I would probably at this point prefer to see Korn over Deftones because at least Korn is going to be, at least I know what I'm getting, with them. Deftones, I don't know what I'm going to be getting. We can get this whole DJ section at one point. I don't know. I'm worried about that. So I would definitely want to see Korn. I would definitely want to see them. Chevelle, obviously. I haven't even seen them play ever. Let's see.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to pick 5. Like I was like, whoa.
See, Alien Anthem, I love Alien Anthem to death, but I mean, I have seen them a lot of times. Let's see. Body Count. I've seen Body Count before. I've seen Seven Dust. I like to see Placebo.
Okay.
But then you got System of a Down. I want to see System of a Down too. So it would definitely be Korn, System of a Down. Definitely would want to see System of a Down, and then see Soulfly. I definitely want to see because I know they're going to play some Sepultura songs. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to miss that. And then probably Placebo for me. Sorry, Cold Chamber. You only have like one album that you put out that I like. She Wants Revenge. I like one of the songs they have, but no, that's not. I mean, with all these other bands, no. Yeah, so it's gonna have to be System of a Down. funny because I'd rather see System Down over the Deftones. Oh, wow. But you know what? They hold their own, man. So, God, that's tough. System Down, Corn. I really want to see Placebo, and then Soulfly, maybe Soulfly, but then Seven Dust. Then hanging out for him. I don't know. Always
there you go. Anyone listen to this? That's whether now or in the future. Please give us your top 5 bands that you would really want to listen to or see live, actually. And I mean, Joey, I believe this would conclude, honestly, our podcast here. We did have another list, but we can save that for later because, honestly, we're coming up here on an hour. I think this podcast came out very well. What a great list. I'll just say what a great pick conversation-wise with this, because it's like it got me motivated to be like, you know what? I haven't been to a festival in a long time. I might be coming here.
Well, did you see the price? Did you see the price?
I forgot. You were excited to show me the price.
Yeah, I think it's like
there's a wait list.
Yeah, it's like I want to say it's like close to almost $400.
Yeah, I see it right here. It says hotel and ticket packages starting at basically $500. It's like $489.
It's basically like our Coachella. Right.
Just general admission is about for tier 3. It's like $430, $440. It just you know what? It just shows you that metal rock is not dead. There's still the loyal fans that move this music. We may not be in the top 40 anymore. But you know what? We are still alive. We're still kicking. This music is never going to die.
No. I mean, heavy metal has always been, stable,
Mm-hmm.
This is to put something like this together and then to charge $400, and knowing that people are going to pay that. I mean, this lineup is really, there's a lot of great bands on. This is really loaded. It's just the timing's just not. I just don't like the timing because Christmas is coming around the corner, and and then these tickets are just not the cheapest tickets. So I just wish the timing was a little better.
But, I mean, what can you say?
So are you gonna go? Are you doing this? Are we gonna do a live broadcast? Speak of the Madman at that show.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It says tickets are already sold out, but you've joined the waiting list for maybe more to be released. But anyways, Joey, as I said, this will be concluding our hour podcast here on Facebook Live. Thank you to anyone who stopped by, and please remember to give us a like here, subscribe here, both here on Facebook and YouTube. Joey, do you have any last more remarks here before we close out?
We got to get to that festival somehow, some way, because it's we know it's going to be fun, and then on top of that, you got the Vegas trip too. It's on top of that, so it's not just a festival, but it's hanging out in Vegas, and wow, this bill is loaded with bands. It's loaded, so it's going to be fun. I know.
All right. And that's you heard it from Joey. So I just want to thank everyone who watched us. Once again, I am Joshua. This is Joey. We are Speak of the Madman. We are on both here on Facebook and on YouTube. Please remember to give us a like and subscribe. Follow us. And we are out. Thank you.
Reasons that tonight you should grant me this one wish, like the 1 year of my life that I gave to you. you put me through hell, you bring me up, yeah. The skies going to lead us, that I want to be digested into 1 million pieces with you. I'd love to be scattered to hell with you, to hell with you, to hell.